Okay, today I'll be doing the replacement of the GPU fan for the AERO laptop. It's Gigabyte laptop RP75. I got the fan, $10, AliExpress. I waited it for a long time, but it arrived in the end. In meantime, what I done before it was I greased the fan, the default one. It worked more than a year, and after that it became noisy again. So maybe I'll have a short video how you can fix the fan for 1 year, 2 year. It depends how good is the state of the fan. Today I'll be replacing the fan, cleaning the radiator and applying the thermal grease. So stay tuned. So I will do the laptop disassembly, the screws from the sides. The screwdriver is T5. I would recommend you to collect all the screws on the sides so you wouldn't lose them. For this you can use the pliers to remove the screws, the one that can be removed. To pop up the case, I'm looking for the weak points where the case detaches from the body, so I found from the top. So in this case you can see I keep some of the screws. I'll put it in a side so I don't lose them, so it will be a quick fix. For you it's better to remove all the screws. Now we'll use Phillips screwdriver to remove the screws from the fan. Each fan is attached with 2 screws. This screw is under the LCD flex, so I will gently remove the cable. There's some protection. I'll peel it off and pull it so it pop-ups from the motherboard. As you can see, this is the cable for the LCD. And from this side I also have the cable from the, what's this? I think maybe from the camera, so I'll pop it up also. What I would recommend you to do before you do any work, because I've done some of this work before, so I'm not so afraid, it's always better to disconnect the battery. So to disconnect the battery, you need to pull the battery connector. Okay, so the battery is disconnected. In this way, if you drop something on the motherboard, at least it wouldn't do any short. So first thing, disconnect the battery. After that, remove the screws. We'll also remove the screws for the GPU and CPU. They have a small rubber stuff on the top. I'm detaching, placing it on the side. These screws are not removable, they're on the springs. So I'm simply unscrewing them. Oops. The rubber parts I don't put aside because I would need them when I'll assemble. I'll simply stick them to the other part of the radiator. Also important, disconnect the fan. This is the first fan connection from this side, and the second one was under the LCD cable. So okay, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws for the GPU CPU, 2 and 2 screws for the fan. So now it's theoretical. One more for the fan. Now I can lift the fan. I'll try gently lift from the side. See, yeah, it's freely moving. So now I'm carefully removing it. So okay, that's it. This is my you see, GPU fan that need to be replaced. I'll do the cleanup of the thermal grease here. I'll apply the new one and I'll remove the fan. Let me show you how I will process with the fan removal. I'll put the back cover back so you would see how I will be doing the removal of the fan. So what I need is the GPU fan. So let's see how it came. It came in this package. Inside there's a fan with the connector. So it goes like this. To remove this, to put in place this fan, I can see it's attached with the screws. So I need to turn around the main fan. I see the small screws here. I'll use my Phillips screwdriver to unscrew them. The screws are really tiny, so you need a really good screwdriver to unscrew them. There are 4 screws that keep in the back cover plate of the fan. As I told, after, if I'll have some time, I'll make a short video how you can basically repair the existing fan, but I already done it before and the replacement fan was like 10 bucks, really cheap, so it was more reasonable simply to put. You see, I unscrewed the screws, I simply lifting it and the fan remains in place. So this is the old one and I'm putting the new one right here in the same thing I'm doing in opposite way. So basically I'm aligning the fan with the screws. These screws are attached to the plastic, so when you put in the screws back, I would recommend you to screw them counterclockwise, so you hear a click, and after that you screw them completely deep in. In this way you wouldn't break the path for the screw, and yeah, they will keep really tight. Okay, the fan is replaced. I'm tightening a little bit the screws, not to over tight them, or they're in plastic so they can break. Now what I would do is I would remove the extra thermal grease that's there. It's completely dry, so maybe it's a good thing that I started replacing the fan. You can use to remove the grease any spatula or this type of the instrument. So I'm trying to remove maximum grease I can. As you can see, I'm using the metal tool to remove the thermal paste from the radiator, and I would use something plastic. You can even use the sort of the old credit card to remove the thermal paste from the GPU and CPU, because not to damage them with the metal tool, you need to use something soft. Okay, so this part is clean. Now, okay. Oh, I have a good place to put the greasing. So I'm removing the back cover. When you have more space, I simply didn't want to move the camera. You better remove the fan on some soft surface, not on the laptop by itself, but in this way I can show you exactly how you would remove it. So now I need to remove this thermal compound from the CPU and GPU. It's fully dry. As you can see, I'm using the plastic tool to do it. Any tool would work. If you have a special tool, good. If no, use any plastic credit card or anything. So I'll collect this stuff. It's completely dry, so I'm cleaning up the CPU and GPU. I think I will need to, after that, to shake a little bit this part and remove the dust in the garbage bin. So I'll pause the video and remove the dust. Okay, in the same time I'll pause it and use the compressed air to blow air through the fan that I didn't replace, so I clean it up. So I'll pause it and come back in a second. Okay, let's continue. So I removed the excess of the paste from the GPU, from the CPU. What else I would recommend you? Or to wear the static gloves, or simply don't touch any components because you can kill them. Oops. I would show you. So I done the cleanup of this thing. Now what I would do, it's I would apply the thermal grease, thermal paste. It's a GD2. I'm quite satisfied with this thermal paste, so it's working quite well. I'll use my screwdriver to push it. Basically, I'm applying in the middle of the CPU and GPU. Don't put too much. I will show you how much I would put it. This thermal paste, it's half liquid, so basically it will spread by itself. As you can see, this is the amount I put on the GPU. Oops. And this is the amount for the CPU. I'll use my tool basically to put it a little bit in the middle. Okay, so that's it. Now I'll put my fans back and do the assembly in the opposite way. So basically, oops, sorry. So this is how they would go. I see that all the cables are out. I'm putting the stuff. Watch out for the LCD cable because it tries to go under the fans. What I can do, simply for example, to show you how the paste was distributed, I put it back, press a bit, so the paste go all around. I'll show you, usually I don't do this, but I'll show you how it is spread it on the CPU and GPU. Okay. So you can, oops. As you can see, it's quite liquid, the paste, so it's not so comfortable to work with. This is how it was. Here it's enough because it still has the bump here. Theoretically I can add a little bit extra. Don't put too much or it will end up on your motherboard. Use like a normal amount. If you want, you can use of course the plastic spatula to basically redistribute it along the side. Where's mine? I have no idea. Okay, I'll use the second one. So basically you can use the small plastic spatula and you can basically redistribute it along the CPU and GPU in this way. It's really interesting. This thing like dries out immediately. It's really surprising. I didn't expect it to dry in general, but I hope when I will press it, it will basically, let's try to put the screws and see if I press them down, how redistributed it will be. Okay, so I'll screw them back and see how it is. So now they're back. Oops, my rubber part. Be attentive with this rubber part because they tend to fly away. I'll put them aside so I don't lose them basically. And simply for interest I will unscrew it again and simply see how the thermal paste is redistributed, if all the part is covered or not. For the CPU, I think there's no issues. For the GPU, we'll see now in a second. Okay, so yeah, it's completely fine. It's fully fine. The CPU and GPU are all covered with paste. I don't want to remove it completely because it stands to stick out, so I'll simply put it like this. Okay, so I'm putting everything back. Everything seems to be fine. So again, I'm aligning the fans, the CPU, and I'm doing the assembly. Watch out for the cables one more time, so you can have them behind your radiators. The screws should be tight, they are on the springs. The springs help keep this thing in place. I'll put the rubber parts back. There's another one over here. Okay. Okay, with the parts. Now I'm connecting the fans. Oops, this is my bad. The cable. nice in place. Arranging the cable, putting back the camera cable and the LCD cable. Okay, so we are attaching the LCD cable back. It should be aligned with the port, and it simply clips inside, and that's it. It clips, and I'm putting the protection back. Okay, so this is for the LCD. I forgot the most important, we need to attach the fans. So okay, the fans are attached, everything is done. Now let's put back housing and screw it in. Oh, sorry, forgot to attach the battery. Okay, we'll use T5. I'll put some of the screws, and after I'll see if the laptop boots fine, I'll put the rest. So I'm attaching the corners. And all loose screws so I don't lose them. That's it. Now I'll flip it upside down to show you, and we'll turn it on. It's quiet and it's booting fast. This is most important. So yeah, I'll finish putting the screws, and that's it. This is how the fan is replaced. Thank you. Bye.